Hey guys, Danny here today to talk to you about the book, The Battle for Hackham Heath. This is the second book in the Ranger's Apprentice, the Early Years series. So earlier I did a video about the Ranger's Apprentice series. This is a series that me and my boys just loved growing up. We listened to it, loved the narrator, and they used the same narrator for this book series, which is awesome. Love the narrator. So in the actual Ranger's Apprentice series, you're introduced to Will, who is this orphan who becomes an apprentice to Holt. And they go on all these adventures, and you get to watch Will's life. This is prior to Will. So the first book in the series, you learn how Holt becomes an apprentice, or becomes a ranger, because Holt is not originally from this kingdom. He's from a different kingdom, and events transpire. He saves the prince, he saves the king, and he gets made a ranger. But you have Mulgareth, who is the bad guy who Holt had to save the kingdom from. And Mulgareth goes up in the mountains of rain and night, and he uses his mental powers to take over these creatures and turn them into an army. And he's going to come back and once again try to kill King Duncan. He was Prince Duncan in the last book while his father's dead, so now he's King Duncan, and take over the kingdom. And this is a story about how once again Holt defeats him. Now, you've got Crowley, who's in the book. You've got, Prince Duncan or King Duncan. You've got other people who play major roles in the book. But the focus of the book really is on Holt. Some really cool events happen in this book. You learn how Holt first met Gillen. Holt doesn't like taking apprentices. He's only ever taken 2 apprentices, Gillen and Will. You learn that in the actual Ranger's Apprentice series after he takes Will. You learn that the only other apprentice he's ever taken was Gillen. Well, what's so special about Gillen? Why does he take this other apprentice? In this book, you're introduced to Gillen. You learn what happens between Holt and Gillen so that Holt will someday agree to apprentice Gillen and let him turn into a ranger. In the Ranger's Apprentice series, you hear over and over again about how Holt led this special charge that ended up defeating Mulgareth. This is the story that actually has that charge in it. So you get to hear the actual story of the charge and the entire battle and everything. You also get to learn, you get introduced to Will in this book. Even though Will's in the other series, there's a point in the Ranger's Apprentice series where you discover that Will, as an orphan, was actually rescued by Holt and turned over to the king's version of an orphanage by Holt. The end of this book, the epilogue, is Holt and his love interest with Will as an infant, and Holt telling her this story. So you get your first actual introduction to Will as an infant in this book. It ties around really, really nicely all of the Ranger's Apprentice strings that are left untied, I guess I'll say, as a better way to say. If like us, you love the Ranger's Apprentice series, you will love this book. It doesn't have Will in it other than the very end when he's just an infant, but it has Holt. And come on, who doesn't love Holt in this series? Who doesn't, if you're a dude, in a real major way, kind of want to be Holt? I mean, all dudes who listen to the book are kind of like, yeah, I'd like to be Holt because Holt's just cool, and he's cool in this book, and it's a really good book. Definitely recommend it. And like with the other books, it's designed for a younger audience. You got a long road trip. You've already listened to the Ranger's Apprentice. Get this, you can either start with the Ranger's Apprentice, the early years, or you can start with the actual Ranger Apprentice series. Either one would be just fine, although the Ranger's Apprentice series is finished. There's like 10 books in that series, and it's completely finished. This is his new series, so you'd get the first 2 books, and then you'd have to wait for the 3rd book to come out. But you got a long road trip, and especially if you got boys, get the Ranger's Apprentice. Get the Ranger's Apprentice the early years. It's good enough that you, as an adult, will enjoy it and get drawn into it. It will also keep your kids thoroughly engaged. And then what's really cool is you can have these fun conversations with your kids afterwards. Me and my boys have had lots of conversations about the Ranger's Apprentice books and about other books. When there's a book series that we love, we have these fun, animated conversations that draw us together and give us a real connection. If you're a parent and you have small kids and you're not reading to them, you're missing out. If you're not, when you travel long journeys, putting on books that you can all enjoy together and really get into together, you're missing out. Books draw you together. There's a special connection I have with my boys that other parents that haven't listened to book series with them don't have with their boys. You're missing out. Get the Ranger's Apprentice series. Listen to it. You will not regret it. I promise you that. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, send them my direction. I will do my best to respond. If you like my channel, please subscribe, turn on notifications. Feel free to share the channel with other people you know who love books. If you like this video, hit the like button. It does help me out, I promise you. But most importantly, make sure that today you listen to at least one really good book. And if you have kids, listen to it with them. Thank you.